Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU. So let's talk a little transfer portal, guys, as the defensive tackle market is starting to get a bit interesting, feel a bit robust, if you will.
That's what this portal window is. It's about defensive tackles,
Yeah.
offensive linemen, and running backs.
Unfortunately, it's about defensive tackles for everybody, which sucks.
It is, but at least you have options. So it's not just one guy. You do have multiple options. I would say 4 or 5 maybe, right, that are going to be impactful players.
Yeah, we can get it. You need names right here.
You need one for
sure.
You
need one. You already got Gio Paez from Wisconsin, who's all right. But again, that's what you need. You need all right. But right now, remember, according to that On3 article the other day, D tackle, the biggest need for Georgia, Texas, Oregon, FSU, LSU. However, you would be hard-pressed to say that the path to playing time is any more wide open than it is at LSU. So you have an advantage there. However, some of these other schools probably have the ability to offer a bit more money, and some of them are closer to a championship. So they would have the advantage there. Still, because LSU's need is so extreme, like Jake's saying, you don't necessarily have to have the best guy. Like, that would be great, but honestly, you just need additional pieces to kind of stabilize right now.
Yeah. And now, also like in the NIL space, you mentioned other teams have deeper pockets, and you're probably right, but
I said potentially. I don't know for sure.
As deep as LSU is going to go, it's going to be for the defensive tackle position. Like, however far they got to reach, they're going to reach to that maximum limit for this position.
True.
And you make a point that I agree with. Playing time? I mean, you're day one.
Yeah, you could step in immediately, even without a spring ball.
You're day one, suiting up for LSU in Las Vegas in the rotation. Day one.
So we'll go through some of the names here. So one of the ones that just hit the transfer portal, CJ West, is a guy from Kent State. People very high on him. He would probably be represented as more than just a depth piece. Numbers-wise, in 36 games, is 110 tackles, nearly 20 TFL, 7 sacks. He's got a ton of offers, including LSU. LSU has not yet been able to line up a visit with West, however, though. And so they're still trying to. You have Philip Blitty, transfer from Indiana. A guy who played at Texas Tech for 3 years and then Indiana for 1, was really good last year at Indiana. He's already visited LSU, and he's still now going to visit Washington, Auburn, Oklahoma, Mizzou. And I think that's a pretty interesting grouping, Jake, because I mentioned championship. Yeah, you may not be where Texas or Georgia or Oregon is, but you're way closer than those other schools, right?
Yeah.
Like, if those are the other schools you're visiting, and if you're Philip Blitty and you're like, okay, I just want to win, and you have Bo Davis, you have LSU, you have all this stuff, okay, I would deem that pretty attractive. And here's maybe the most exciting. Well, actually, before we get to the most exciting name, let's go to another one. Simeon Barrow, defensive tackle from Michigan State. This is a hilarious stat that Taylor found, Jake, that blows my mind. This is Simeon Barrow's 4th time in the portal. However, the first 3, he just returned to MSU every time. So he does. I don't know if he's like just negging Michigan State. He's trying to keep them on their toes. I mean, granted, they had all these coaching changes, so maybe every time he's just like preemptively putting in and being like, "Oh, I kind of like it." I'm saying, but
the last time he entered was the day that Mel Tucker got fired back in October.
Yeah.
2 days later, he pulled his name out. So that is the last time, was because of that coaching change.
If only Mel Tucker hadn't pulled himself out while on the phone, he'd still probably be there. But yeah, that's hilarious to be in there. Actually, Taylor, you had a funny joke earlier.
Oh, yeah. So they were always talking about, like, well, who's the leader in the pack? Like, which team's going to be the leader? I'm like, how is the leader not Michigan State? Like,
that's true.
He's
They've won
gone
this
back
recruiting
3
battle
times.
4 times in high school and 3 times in college.
Yeah, like he is committed to this program 4 different times. How are they not the leader?
Yeah, that's very fair.
They weren't even on the board. I was like, they got to be the team to beat.
Oh, wait, I didn't finish my notes here on the visiting front. By the way, all 10 back-to-back, all Big Ten honorable mention. So that's okay. We're increasing in quality here.
Yeah,
that's a good player right there. Last year, 36 tackles, 5.5 tiffles, 3.5 sacks. Those are good numbers for an interior defensive lineman. Where's he visiting, Taylor? I thought I had this written down.
Who, Barrow?
Yeah.
So he's visiting LSU on Sunday.
Okay, cool. Do we know where else he's visiting?
He's got a couple lined up. I believe Oklahoma is another one.
Burrow.
I mean, look at that.
Right
dude.
there.
And then you also had Lamine Barrows.
I love
You
Lamine.
did.
That's my Barrow.
418 well.
I mean, his name's Simeon. Simeon Rice could rush the passer pretty well.
He played for Illinois, so I don't know where that falls into it, but
The Big Ten.
Sure. Yeah, we don't want him in the Big Ten, though.
No, I know, but he's leaving
Yeah,
the Big Ten.
yeah.
Just like Simeon Rice did when he came down to Tampa. Yeah, maybe. Or he's just going to
He
stay
got
in East
drafted
Lansing.
Of these names.
We got one more name. You want to do last name? Because this is probably the most exciting.
Probably
name.
Williams.
Dominic
Yeah,
Williams.
okay.
Yeah. Spelled like demonic.
Yeah.
Dominic Williams. He is a TCU defensive tackle, a 2022 freshman All-American on the Natty team, and an All Big 12 selection last year. So, I mean, that speaks for itself, right? He is visiting Oklahoma, then Texas, then Colorado, then LSU, and then Missouri and Oregon. All right. So those are the names. So you got to get one. You got to get one.
Got to get one. It's not even a conversation. We can't negotiate. You got to get one. You have to land one of these players. You would like to land multiple, but that's probably not realistic because you're going to do what? You're going to push all your chips to the middle of the table for all of these players.
Yeah.
And I would say, obviously, you have 4 names here. I would say there's probably 3 in the race right now, and Barrow and Williams probably be my top targets.
I would say definitely Barrow and Williams would be who, if you could just choose, yes, you'd probably choose Williams first because he's a little younger.
I was about to say Williams is intriguing because I think you could get him for
multiple years.
Maybe multiple years.
Maybe,
depending on what kind of year he had. But whatever the situation might be.
And he's like 6'1", like 330 or something.
Yeah.
Like he's that real squatty, big, fat, space eater, gravitational pull around the belly guy that you need at nose.
Yeah, whatever the situation might be, you pull out all stops.
Yeah.
All stops. Because from day one, I think this player would be a starter next to Guillory.
Yes.
So, like, you
100%.
can offer that, like we mentioned. Nobody else, I don't think, can offer a guarantee like that. You can offer a bunch of different things and playing in the SEC. None of these players have played in the SEC, and obviously if it was an SEC player, you wouldn't have the ability in the second portal window, but you can offer just so many different things, and you can probably offer the most lucrative NIL deal. Because I don't know that anybody, even though Georgia has a need, Georgia's still got Jimmys and Joes. Like, they're young.
Yes, yeah.
They're not going to go as deep at defensive tackle.
Yeah, Georgia's need is relative. You know, it's relative to Georgia 2 years ago where you give up half a yard a rush or whatever. Like, their need is not it's just, yes, it's a relative weakness versus a glaring weakness like what LSU has.
Well, there's a couple of defensive tackles that you thought were going to come back that did not come back that had strong NIL deals.
Yeah, that's a good point. Gulf South's pointing that. I never even think about that. Talking about how, you got Wingo Smith, Brian Thomas Jr. He puts a number on it, which I haven't seen. He says $1.5 million total in NIL deals offered to those 3 that now you would imagine that you have to spend.
So you have advantages. Now it's on you. Now it falls onto you. And it falls on your recruiting department and your transfer portal department of which one of these players you think is the best option, because that's who you go after the strongest. And then you have to kind of tier it. Okay, here's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. How much are we going? And if tier 1 is off the board, you feel like it's off the board, you got to quickly go to 2 before somebody else, because 2 might be somebody else's tier 1.
Yeah.
You can't allow all 3 of these players to go somewhere different.
And I got to say, man, I love having Bo Davis for this.
Yep.
Love having Bo Davis and love having Blake Baker recruiting this. So we'll see where it goes. But the defensive tackle market is a hot market right now. It is swelling. LSU is doing the right things. They're getting the visits. They're getting in the offers. They just need to land one, and we'll continue to update you on the situation.
It is wild how much that would make you feel just way more confident in this defense.
Better.
Just a defensive tackle position that rotates as much as any position on the football field is defensive line, right? I mean, it's like hockey line shifts now. You got 4 in, 4 out, but still, like, just having the ability to know that you've got a quality starter next to Jacoby and Guillory.
Yeah, because you can force a quality starter to play a lot of snaps. I mean, I always think about Christian Locketor.
Yeah, and Mekhi Wingo his first year here.
Yeah, played more snaps than anybody in the country.
Like, that can happen. You can have that guy.
And be successful.
And then you have other players that aren't here yet, 5 stars, right, that are coming in the beginning of June that you can slow play.
Yeah, and like Relaford looked strong.
Yeah, like Game 6, Game 7, then they're ready to play.
Yeah.
But you need somebody to get you to Game 6, Game 7, and then that person that got you to Game 6, Game 7, well, he's your starter, but that young guy is ready to come, fill in, give him a blow, change it up, have a different look.
So, big news on the portal front. We'll continue to keep you updated. Hey, what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy